Okay, back to module 1, lesson 2. We're going to talk about evaluating your strengths and your weaknesses. This is key to entrepreneurial success, is understanding your strengths and your weaknesses, because you can't be everything to everybody at all times. You can't always try to be everything because you just can't do it. Let me give you an example. One of my weaknesses is accounting. So because it's accounting, I knew that for a fact I could not, or I would not be the best version of myself if I was just to work in accounting. That's going to be a weakness that I had as far as in my business. So what I did was I hired an accountant. I hired an accountant who managed my books every single month. This is what they were so good at. They were strong in this area because this was their strength that they went to school for. They understood this. It was a weakness of mine. So part of you understanding your strengths and weaknesses is going to be you writing down and taking the, you got to take the time, write this down, write down all the things you think you're good at, all the things you don't think you're as good at, all the things that you think you sort of suck at, because you want to understand your strengths and weaknesses, because you want to work within your strengths as much as you possibly can, and delegate those weaknesses out to other people. But remember this, as you start out, you're going to probably have to work within your strengths, your weaknesses, and in those areas that you suck, because you're brand new. You don't have the money. You don't have the revenue. You don't have the income coming in to pay someone else to do it at this time. So you got to figure out what your personal strengths and weaknesses are individually. One of my greatest strengths is my ability to communicate, my ability to woo people, my ability to pay attention, my attention to detail, my attention of understanding what's going on in front of me. And then, of course, I have my own weaknesses. We all are going to have weaknesses. So don't see that as a bad thing because you're not as good at something as you are something else. That's just part of business, part of life. You can absolutely become the very best version in every part of your life, but don't focus trying to put it's like trying to take that round peg to put it in a square hole, or a square peg, put it in a round hole. You're trying to force something to happen that you should delegate out to somebody else. That's part of strengths and weaknesses. So there's a great book that I read called Strength Finders. Phenomenal book. This is where you're going to go in, you're going to buy the book, and they give you like a test that you can take. It's going to help you determine your top strengths as a human being, as far as what they are, what you can do, what you're best at, what you're not best at. And then you can sort of figure out, well, is this me? Is this not me? But once you figure these things out, it helps you in your entrepreneurial journey so very much. One strength I'm going to suggest, even if it's a weakness that you really focus on and becoming better at, is communicating. Because when you go into business, I've heard people say, I hate people. I can't stand talking to people. Well, let me assure you of one thing. If you're going to be in business, you're going to talk to people. People are what make your business great. People are who pay you money. People are who make this whole thing work. Without people, we have no business. Without people, we have no clientele. So if you can learn one thing, learn how to speak clearly, speak effectively, eliminate your crutch words like, so focus on learning how to, this one thing, if I could get this into your head, is your ability to communicate and your ability to sell. So communication and selling, because you're selling a product, you're selling an idea, you're selling a service. You're going to have to be able to communicate really good and clearly in order to sell what you want to sell. But you have to have good communication skills, and you can't be afraid. A great way to do that is join a Toastmasters club. One of the best things I ever did was join Toastmasters many years ago, because it helped me to become a much better speaker in front of groups of people. People say, well, I'm only good one-on-one. You may be only good one-on-one, but when you become good in a group, you become phenomenal at one-on-one. All you've done is increase your skills, because now you're in front of people who are not your peers. They may be way above you, from attorneys to doctors to anything under the sun that you can think of, people who are making $100 million a year. Your ability to communicate is going to determine how far you go in your business. So when we look at strengths and weaknesses, if this is a weakness for you, take the time to go to a Toastmasters organization, volunteer, learn to do speaking, and increase your speaking skills and your communication skills. And this is going to help you tremendously. So remember, take the time, write down your strengths, things you think you're good at, your weaknesses, things you know you're not good at, and your sucks, things you really shouldn't do. I mean, because there are things I really shouldn't do because, well, I'm going to focus on where I'm good because that's what's going to push my business to that next level. Because you can always delegate those things out that you're not good at as you grow your business. And it's important that you know what these different things are. Have a great day. See you in the next lesson.